Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One, and I am back with another video. Okay, now we can look forward to the matchup at hand next week, and that is the Golden State Warriors versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, this is the first time in NBA history that the same two teams are representing the East and the West that they have played 3 consecutive final appearances. Okay, that was never heard of. A lot of people think and assume, well, what about those rivalries between the Boston Celtics and the L.A. Lakers? This is something historical. Okay, now let's look at both of these squads. Okay, let's start off with the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors have 4 all-star players. Okay, if you took apart one of these individuals, they can start on their own team, and they will have an organization that not only that will back and support this player, but they're going to run their offense and their system around this particular player. It really doesn't matter. You can pick your poison. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Chef Curry, the Durantula, even Draymond Green. Those brothers are fierce at the offensive level, and they can do things on the defensive end as well. Okay, now when you're talking about the Golden State Warriors, the one thing they were also good and successful in is they had a deep bench. Okay, now this year's Golden State Warriors, the bench is not as deep as it was last year or the year before that particular year. Now, to me personally, last year, that bench wasn't even deep. But if you compare last year's team to this year's team, when you're talking about the bench itself, there was some depth in the bench last year versus this year. Okay, now when you're talking about the big men of the Golden State Warriors, the big men can give you little sparks here and there during the game. Every once in a while, they may show a defensive presence, but there's really nobody dominated when you're talking about big men in general. Okay, I think they got some athletic big men that can move up and down the court. That fits their style and fit their system when you're talking about the Golden State Warriors, because they want to push the ball fast as possible. Last year's squad, they had some defense, they had some big men, but as far as big men moving with the system, quickly moving up and down the court, that wasn't possible. Okay, they were mainly a defensive presence down below, getting slashers to become jump shooters. That was their claim to fame last year. Okay, now when you're talking about the coach of the Golden State Warriors, there's a question mark between Steve Kerr. Is Steve Kerr going to be well enough to coach this team in the N.B.A. Finals? And a lot of people are speculating he's not going to be there. Okay, so now you're talking about Mike Brown. Mike Brown, to me, is sort of the wild card. You don't really necessarily know what you're going to get out of Mike Brown. Sometimes Mike Brown gets in his way when you're talking about coaching. All right. The one good thing about being a coach in the NBA, you have to be that type of individual that can massage egos and have a great repertoire when it comes to chemistry, getting people to fit within the system. Mike Brown hasn't done that on a professional level. Okay, he had the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James, couldn't do nothing with it. Okay, he had the L.A. Lakers with Kobe, couldn't do nothing with it. Okay, so this is going to be a very challenging series for Mike Brown, and Mike Brown's reputation is on the line. If he can get a W without Steve Kerr, and basically using Steve Kerr's parts when you're talking about the players, he gets a championship, he gets a lot of recognition, and there's going to be a lot of teams out there that may want the services of Mike Brown as a head coach. Okay, there are going to be some organizations out there that's going to probably say, well, the coach we have right now, he's all right, but he ain't real. Let's cut him loose. All right, let's go get Mike Brown. Okay. So that's it about the Golden State Warriors, okay, from head to toe. Now, when you're talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers can run with this team. They also have a squad. I think they have more of a big three than a big four versus the Golden State Warriors. When you're talking about LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love, these are brothers that you're going to have to, on the defensive end, know and keep your head on the swivel. Where are these guys at? Okay, sometimes these guys are going to demand double teams. Okay, LeBron James is definitely going to demand a double team. The same can be said for Kyrie Irving. Now, you could, if you want to pick your poison out of the three, you could leave Kevin Love and let Kevin Love be, and just hope and pray Kevin Love doesn't steal a game from you. Okay, you could use that type of strategy with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, their support system on and off the bench is better than it was last year. Last year, the Cleveland Cavaliers, when you're talking about their bench help, their bench production, it really wasn't there. It was there in certain spots of the game, but not all the way through. You couldn't really necessarily depend on the bench support of the Cleveland Cavaliers. This year, the bench support is top notch. Okay, I'm not gonna sit up here and say, when you compare the two benches, the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, which one is better. The Cleveland Cavaliers have a good, productive bench. Not a deep bench, but a good, productive bench. And they have specialists on their squad. Kyle Lowry, not Kyle Lowry. Why am I saying Kyle Lowry? A Corvert. He is deadly behind the three-point line. Okay. You also have Christian Thompson. He's a rim protector. He's a ball blocker. He's an anchor on the defense. He's considered a specialist. When you're talking about LeBron James and Kyrie Irving themselves, they are the best one versus one players. They can pretty much create their play on the floor. Okay, so that's also a plus. Okay, now when you're talking about the coach, Tyronn Lue, Tyronn Lue is not a rookie anymore. Okay, he should get the same type of respect as an Eric Spoelstra. All right, so he earned his stripes. Okay, and he's good at managing egos and the chemistry, making sure everybody is accountable and making sure everybody fits within the system and fits within themselves. Okay, now they're not going to have all those distractions like how are we going to implement Kevin Love. After 3 years, you pretty much know how you're going to utilize Kevin Love. You're not going to have the distraction of, well, which person is going to get the ball the most, LeBron James or Kyrie Irving. You had these individuals for more than 3 years. You know what you do with those brothers. J.R. Smith, he can be a wild card if you're looking at, well, who you can't really necessarily put 100% trust into. He may have a game where he's making 7 or 8 threes, and he may have another game where he's missing 15 threes. Okay, you never know what you're going to get out of J.R. Smith. But however, J.R. Smith has elevated his talent. Now, I said last year, J.R. Smith is the type of brother that was so fixated on the three-point shot. All right, and the one thing I said last year was J.R. Smith back in the day was a master of none and had all these different types of repertoires in his system. Okay, yes, he had the three-point shot. He can also slash. He can also make good 20-foot jumpers. The guy was good. Okay, J.R. Smith is gone back to the old J.R. Smith. He's not necessarily depending so much on the three-point shot. Okay, so you have a wild card in J.R. Smith. I think as far as Kevin Love go, you already know pretty much what Kevin Love is going to give you. And when you're talking about the supported help on the court as well as off the court, when you're talking about the bench, it is good. It is a lot better than last year's team. Okay, now let's get down to who is going to win the NBA Finals. Now, I don't know how many games it's going to take, all right? But I feel like I have to give the nod to Cleveland because, to me, in my opinion, the Cleveland Cavaliers are a better team overall than the Golden State Warriors. Now, a lot of people are going to say, yo, what are you talking about? The Golden State Warriors, you just got through saying they had 4 All-Stars, okay? Yes, they do. But all 4 All-Stars can't touch the ball equally, all right? One of those 4 All-Stars is going to be out of luck when it comes to touches, and I believe it's going to be Klay Thompson, okay? That's just my feel about it. I think Draymond Green accepted the fact that he's not going to demand a lot of touches. But when you're talking about an overall team, when you're talking about offense, defense, and the bench support as well as the coach of the team, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors, they're pretty much equal on the offensive side. I give the nod slightly to the Cleveland Cavaliers when you're talking about defense. I give the nod very slightly when you're talking about bench help. And when you're talking about coaching, I think Tyronn Lue, he's been in these situations before, far more than Mike Brown, and that's going to be the Achilles heel of the matter. So when you look and you check those things off the blocks, the Cleveland Cavaliers got more checks in their favor, okay? I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to ultimately beat the Golden State Warriors. Now, from after this championship, from the next championship, the Golden State Warriors are going to be reigning supreme, okay? And the only way the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to even beat the Golden State Warriors next year, if they can keep the team that they have, and add another superstar, which I don't think is going to ever happen. The realest chance and the realest opportunity that they had was this year when they could have gotten Carmelo Anthony for nothing. But you had to remember the Cleveland Cavaliers lost a lot of draft picks. They sold away a lot of those draft picks to get the players that they already have on the squad, okay? So I thought that was the realest opportunity that they could have added another all-star, okay? But as of right now, I give the nod, I give the edge to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I say this series, if you have to press me, I think the series is going to be over in 5 and 6 games. I don't think this is going to be a long, drawn-out series like it was last year. It's not going to go all the way through 7 games and to the final 2 minutes of Game 7. I don't think it's going to be that serious. I don't think it's going to be that deep, okay? The one thing about Kevin Durant is he had a bad experience with the finals. You don't know how that's going to play a part in this year's finals. Klay Thompson really hasn't gotten his stroke on. He really hasn't got his chemistry on with the other members, because Kevin Durant is also a new member with the Golden State Warriors, and they're trying to push Kevin Durant into the system, which means Klay Thompson is going to struggle some, okay? And, it is what it is, okay? But, guys, tell me what you think out there. Comment below. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Please hit that notification bell on my YouTube page so you'll know when my next live stream or video is going down. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One, and now you may...